And Ukraine's President Zelensky has signed an agreement with the UK that guarantees support for Kyiv's defence and industrial complex. He joined newly elected UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer in Oxfordshire with more than 40 other European leaders for a summit on security, energy and immigration. Stuart Smith reports for more.
The European Political Community Summit, which brought together these leaders, was launched after Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. Since the beginning, London has been at the forefront of support to Kyiv, and new Prime Minister Keir Starmer was eager to reassure President Zelensky and other European leaders that this won't change. Recently, the UK went even further than the US when it comes to military support, saying that Kyiv could decide for itself whether to fire British-made missiles anywhere in Russia, as long as it's for defensive purposes and follows international humanitarian law. That's not a stance most other NATO nations support for their own military aid, but at the EPC meeting, President Zelensky called on allies to allow long-range strikes on Russia with Western weapons, claiming the fewer restrictions we have, the more Russia will seek peace. The president also claimed they had stopped the Russian advance on Kharkiv and that while Russia had lost tens of thousands of citizens, it had gained nothing significant. Volodymyr Zelensky took the opportunity to condemn Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary, who recently visited Moscow and met with Donald Trump, telling leaders that if someone in Europe tries to resolve issues behind our backs, if someone wants to make some trips to the capital of war to talk, and perhaps promise something against our common interests or at the expense of Ukraine, then why should we consider such a person? European leaders are preparing for the possibility Donald Trump will become the next US president and weaken support for Ukraine. The Ukrainian defense minister said on Thursday, whatever the outcome of the US elections, we will find solutions. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said he expected US support to continue, regardless of who wins the election. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov claimed Russia has not and does not present any threat to anyone in the European Union and said Russia was just defending its interests because EU countries refuse to consider Russia's concerns. Stuart Smith in London, reporting for DD India.
Well, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky acknowledged in an interview published on Thursday that a victory for Donald Trump in the US election in November would be difficult for his country, but Ukrainians were prepared. Zelensky, speaking to the BBC while attending the European Political Community meeting in London, questioned what would be the price of Donald Trump's plan to end the war in Ukraine.
Everybody will be happy if one person in the world doesn't depend Donald Trump or not. Okay, Donald Trump. If one person in the world, and this person Donald Trump, can stop the war during 24 hours. The question is, what the price?